Before we start the video, I just wanted to thank Filmora9 for sponsoring this video. I usually receive a lot of questions from you guys, asking me about advice on how to edit your videos or what software to use. Well, my advice is to try Filmora9 if you are first starting your YouTube channel, because it is designed to be super easy to use. It only takes a few minutes to understand the basic features, like how to trim and crop footage, edit audio, and so on. There are tons of preset medias built into Filmora9, such as music, titles, and filters. Just simply drag and drop effects to the timeline, that's it. Among all the features of Filmora9, what I like the most is the extensive amount of video transitions, which you see when, for example, we go into the end screen on one of my vids. If you're looking for some more cool audio, image, footage, and After Effects, you can go to Filmora9's online stock library, Filmstocks, to download the assets you want. Most importantly, it is quite affordable compared to Adobe Premiere Pro or Final Cut Pro. The best thing is you can even try it for free before you make your purchase. The download link is in the description, and you can try it for free today. So we left off in March of 1937 with America imploding, but this at least had some good news for the Philippines, because what the hell is the United States gonna do about it? Sindies aren't just rising up in America, as in May the Swiss Sindies topple the government, and are welcomed with open arms into the Third International, and in return France just yoinks their French-speaking regions. Trouble also starts up in the Balkans, Baltic, force of habit. After the First Weltkrieg, the Germans set up a puppet state there, for totally not Lebensraum, to settle Germans, and make the region eventually ethnically German. But the native population there were pretty tired of being treated as second-class citizens, so they revolted. But several German war crimes later, and the Germans were able to put it down. And Spain also had its own civil war, but this one is actually three-sided, with the Republic, Syndicalists, and Carlists, with the Republic eventually coming out on top. By June, things in India finally go down, when the now Nazbol, totalist Baradan commune, goes to invade and conquer the Princely Federation. And then the Baradans totally did not support a coup in Burma, which put a syndicalist government in charge. By August, the war in America is still raging on, with no clear victor in sight, with mostly the federal government getting beat up and now being restricted to just DC and surrounding land. After some fierce fighting, however, the combined syndicalists are able to beat Long's forces to the city. Though it's looking like the PSA is also seeing some trouble, after a strike turns ugly in Seattle morphs into a combined syndicalist-aligned revolt. But some good news comes out of Romania, as in December the pro-royalist forces finally defeat the fascist regime. And remember the Ottomans and how they are still alive in this timeline? Well, Egypt and Iran decide that they are some easy pickings and invade. To make it worse, another Arab revolt happens, and then Bulgaria invades from the north. And this time there's no Germany to save them. By June, the Ottomans are pretty much guaranteed screwed. They give Bulgaria everything they want in return for peace in hopes that they can turn the tide in the south. Spoiler, they can't. Now, you'd think Bulgaria would be doing pretty well after this. Well, this is the dumpster fire that we call the Balkans. So of course Serbia and Greece declare war on them, and well, Bulgaria gets their teeth knocked in, losing quite a bit of land. In October, it happens. The French communard government sends a squadron of bombers over the region of Alsace-Lorraine, dropping thousands of leaflets detailing their grievances with the German Empire. But most importantly, there is one major demand. Hand over the region of Alsace-Lorraine. After being left on red by the German government, the French government declares war, beginning the Second Weltkrieg. Now, despite being the polar political opposite of France, the newly re-Tsarist Russia decides that they want their territory back, and declare war in Germany too. Mexico also gets in on the revanchist fun by declaring war on the PSA for Mexican-American War II, Electric Boogaloo. On the Western Front, things stay at a mostly stalemate, with neither side able to push very far. Yeah, seem familiar? The Russians see some better success, however, with the White Ruthenian puppet government being overthrown and Poland and Italy switching sides to ally Russia. And also they gain ground on the other German puppet states. Britain also launches an invasion of the Reichspakt-aligned Ireland, and within a few months, once again, mostly vanquishes an independent Irish state, with only a few holdouts remaining. In September, after having been further strained by an Entente invasion, Chicago finally falls, with all combined Syndicalists of America leaders either fleeing to Europe or getting the firing squad. The PSA has also been faring badly, as they've retreated past Los Angeles, and now with the CSA destroyed, the American Union state declares war on them. With the CSA taken care of, now the Entente can fully commit to returning home, and declare war on the Communards in December. The opening move of the war is a joint landing on the beaches of Marseille. While they do see success in taking the city and surrounding towns, Communard reserves bog down the Entente forces, much like the German forces, with things becoming a stalemate. Another blow to the Communards is in Ireland, where Reichspakt reinforcements allow the Irish to regain most of their territory. The front remains static for the next few months before the Entente launches another naval invasion in May. of the Piedmont region of Italy, alongside with the Italian Federation declaring war on the Socialist Republic of Italy. A breakthrough finally occurs around this time in northern France, with the Germans advancing on Paris. Seeing the writing on the wall, the Entente and Reichspakt decide to take a victory lap in Halifax by deciding how to divvy up the communard holdings. Except the conference is an utter failure when the Entente demands all of their former territory and colonies back, which Germany says 9 to. By July, Germany finally takes Paris, just in time for Kaiser Willy to die and be succeeded by his son. By August, the Pacific states surrender to both the American Union state and Mexico. But the AUS still wants California, which Mexico took, so they just declare war on Mexico. In September, the French Cindies are still in retreat, and aren't helped when a pro-national French revolt pops up in French Scotland, Brittany. By November, the French communard government collapsed, with the country being split between the Entente and Reichspakt. And by the end of that month, the Irish kick out the last of the British forces. Both the Socialist Republic of Italy and Switzerland managed to hold out a little while longer, but also surrendered by December. Also, so far in this video, I've kind of neglected China, but what's happening in China can kind of just be summed up as Japan and the Fangshan clique are invading all the small little warlords. Okay, so back to Europe. So now the Union of Britain is pretty much alone in the world, and with public trust in the government at an all-time low, our totalist, Nosbel, friend Oswald Mosley takes the opportunity to seize power in a coup. He basically goes full Ingsoc, turning the island into an Orwellian hellhole, and a fortress that would put Hoax's Albania to shame. With France defeated, Germany turns to the Eastern Front to push back the Russian tide. And with Russian forces exhausted and low on supplies, it only takes a few months for the Reichspakt forces to reach Moscow. The Russians are not helped when the Tsar unexpectedly dies, and is succeeded by his 12-year-old son, which means that Russia is effectively ruled by a Regency Council of Generals, who adopt a fight-to-the-last-man mentality. It only takes until October, though, for the Russians to get pushed past the Urals, which leaves the Russian army effectively defunct. The Germans establish a puppet Russian government, though it is only really in control of the European portion of the country, with Siberia and Central Asia falling to independent groups. Invasions by both the Entente and Reichspakt of a heavily fortified Britain are beaten back, making both sides, exhausted from years of war, decide it is futile to continue fighting with Britain, and an uneasy ceasefire is made. Britain for subsequent decades becomes known as the Hermit Kingdom, an isolationist totalitarian state, with little in the way of participation in global politics and trade. Things continue to not go well for the Entente. After the surrender of Mexico to the AUS and Central America, New England votes to rejoin with the AUS, and there's not much that Canada can really do about it. And with dreams of taking back Britain dashed, the Entente is left with just a small slice of French coast and Brittany, plus the Italian region of Piedmont, to show for their participation in the Second Weltkrieg.
Epilogue.
The future for Germany is not rosy either. Before the Second Weltkrieg, they were already having trouble holding on to their colonial territories. And with a beleaguered army forced to exert control over newly conquered territories, stability across the German sphere begins to take a nosedive. In coming decades, the German Empire begins to collapse from the inside, and the now more democratically aligned Entente slowly but surely growing to counter German influence, absorbing many of the former German possessions, and even Germany itself after public faith in the monarchy dissolves, and causes a peaceful democratic revolution. Still though, even after the fall of the Reichspakt, totalist Britain is alive and kicking, with subsequent leaders refusing to democratize or even open up at all to the world. Thanks for patrons Andy Luke, Emerson Salmerio Rubio, Link the Bets 24, Sean Finerty Loins,
Skylar Weston,
and Zyma.